What happened to the child stars we all grew up watching? Like seriously, one minute they're on every screen, and the next, poof, totally gone. From Star Wars to Spy Kids, from Matilda to The Shining, these kids were huge, some even Oscar-nominated, and then they just disappeared from Hollywood. Here are the 20 child stars who completely vanished from Hollywood. Let's kick things off with a kid who was once the future of the galaxy, and then disappeared into total silence. Lloyd was just 10 when he played little Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. It was a huge deal. He became super famous overnight. But sadly, things went downhill fast. People online hated the movie, and even though Jake was just a kid, he got blamed for it. At school, classmates bullied him nonstop. That kind of attention really messed with his mental health. He ended up quitting acting completely and tried to live a normal life. But it wasn't easy. In his early adult years, he faced some legal and health issues. Eventually, his family stepped in and helped him focus on healing. These days, he stays far away from Hollywood and lives a quiet life with his mom. But what happened to the twins who ruled the 90s fashion world? Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were everywhere in the 90s. They shared the role of Michelle Tanner on Full House, had their own movies, their own makeup, clothes, dolls, you name it. They were like mini moguls by age 10. But once they got older, everything changed. Acting just didn't interest them anymore. Around their 20s, they left Hollywood completely and started working in fashion. Now they run The Row, a super high-end fashion brand that celebrities love. They also keep things very private. No Instagram, no interviews, no new movies. And speaking of magic, what happened to the little girl from Matilda? If you grew up in the 90s, you definitely remember Mara Wilson. She was that adorable, smart kid in movies like Matilda, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Miracle on 34th Street. Everyone thought she'd be a huge star forever, but then she totally disappeared. Turns out Mara didn't really like being famous. As she got older, acting felt weird and stressful. Hollywood, especially for girls, can be super toxic, and Mara just wasn't into it, so she stepped away and focused on writing. Today, she's an author and also speaks out about mental health and the downsides of childhood fame. Up next, this Goonies kid traded Hollywood for a totally unexpected career. Remember Chunk from the Goonies? The kid who did the hilarious Truffle Shuffle? That's Jeff Cohen. After that movie, you'd think he'd be in a ton of stuff, but nope. He did a few small roles, then completely quit acting. And get this, he became a lawyer. Yeah, seriously. He went to law school and now works as an entertainment attorney, helping other actors with contracts and deals. Even cooler, he helped his old Goonies co-star Ke Huy Quan, Data, with his Oscar-winning comeback. Jeff basically went from child star to behind-the-scenes boss. And the next kid literally never acted again after his one big role. Peter Ostrum was the sweet, lucky boy who played Charlie Bucket in the original Willy Wonka movie. But here's the twist, he never acted again. Like, not even once. That film was his first and last. After it ended, he just went back to school like nothing happened. People kept asking if he'd do more movies, but Peter said no thanks. He wanted a normal life. So he studied hard and became a veterinarian. Today, he lives in upstate New York and treats animals for a living. Now let's talk about the half-man from 2.5 Men. Angus T. Jones was the half-man in 2.5 Men, and he was on that show for years. He made a ton of money and was super famous for a while, but as he got older, he started feeling weird about the show's jokes and storylines. He didn't like what the show stood for anymore, especially after becoming more religious. He straight up called the show filth in an interview and left right after. It shocked a lot of people, but Angus seemed really serious about living a new kind of life. These days, he stays away from the spotlight and lives quietly. Okay, next. Remember the blonde girl from Jurassic Park? Ariana Richards played Lex, the girl who screamed her way through Jurassic Park while dodging hungry dinosaurs. She was awesome in that movie and even returned for a short scene in the sequel. But after that, she dipped out of Hollywood completely. Instead of chasing more roles, Ariana followed her other passion, painting, and not just casually, she became a professional artist. She focuses on landscapes and has actually won awards for her work. Her art is calming and beautiful, which is kind of the opposite of running from a T-Rex. Coming up, the creepy little boy from The Shining. Where is he now? Danny Lloyd was just 6 when he starred as little Danny Torrance in The Shining. The twist? He didn't even know it was a horror movie while filming it. The director and crew made sure he didn't see anything too scary on set. After that, Danny did one more acting role and then completely stepped away from Hollywood. Instead of staying in movies, he went to school, studied science, and eventually became a college professor. Today, he teaches biology and lives a totally normal life. But this next actress literally vanished after one movie, and it was Aliens. Carrie Henn played Newt in Aliens, the brave little girl who survived the scary alien monsters and even bonded with Ripley. She was only 10 when she acted in that movie, and she was amazing. But guess what? That was her first and only film role. After that, she went back to regular school life and totally left acting behind. Today, she's a middle school teacher in California and lives a peaceful life with her family. She's super private but still goes to fan events and conventions sometimes to meet Aliens fans. Next, the kid from The Never-Ending Story. What even happened to him? Barrett Oliver played Bastian, the quiet kid who finds a magical book in The Never-Ending Story. That movie was huge in the 80s, and Barrett's performance made it feel real. But after a few more movie roles, he disappeared from acting altogether. Instead of staying in Hollywood, Barrett found a new passion: photography. And not just snapping pics on a phone. He got really into old-school photography techniques and became a total expert. He now teaches and writes about historical photo processes and has even published books on the subject. Still with me? Because up next is the guy every 90s kid had on their wall. He was everywhere, then totally vanished. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, or JTT, was the teen heartthrob in the 90s. He played Randy on Home Improvement and voiced young Simba in The Lion King. Every teen magazine had his face on it, but right when he was peaking, he bounced, like no warning, just gone. Turns out he wanted a normal life and went to college at Harvard and Columbia. He did a few voice roles here and there, but never fully came back to acting. Now, he lives super privately, away from Hollywood, and hardly ever gives interviews. And speaking of sudden exits, what happened to the smart little boy from Jerry Maguire? Remember the, "Did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds?" kid from Jerry Maguire? That was Jonathan Lipnicki. He was also the adorable boy in Stuart Little and The Little Vampire. Back then, everyone thought he was going to be a big star forever. But after a while, roles just stopped coming. Hollywood wasn't calling like it used to. Instead of trying to chase fame, Jonathan switched gears. He focused on martial arts and became a black belt. He still acts in smaller films and indie stuff, but nothing huge like before. He's also super into fitness and helps with anti-bullying campaigns. Up next, what happened to the boy wizard who wasn't Harry Potter? Freddie Highmore played the sweetest version of Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he crushed it in August Rush. As a kid, he was everywhere and super talented. But unlike most on this list, Freddie didn't completely vanish. He just grew up and took control. He went to Cambridge, got a degree in Spanish and Arabic, and then came back smarter and stronger. Now he stars in The Good Doctor, where he plays a genius surgeon with autism. It's a total comeback. But during his teen years, he did kind of disappear for a bit, mostly to focus on school and avoid burnout. But what about the Spy Kids stars? You won't believe where they are now. Daryl Sabera was everyone's favorite nerdy action kid in Spy Kids. He played Juni Cortez and made gadgets look cool. He was in all the movies, even spin-offs and cameos. But after Spy Kids wrapped, he kind of faded out of the spotlight. He did a few TV guest spots and voice roles, but nothing major. Then suddenly, boom, he's dating singer Meghan Trainor. Now they're married with a kid, and Daryl is all about being a full-time dad. He's not chasing fame anymore, and he seems really happy just being with family. Speaking of Spy Kids, what happened to the cool older sister? Alexa Vega, now Alexa Penavega, played Carmen in Spy Kids, and she was such a badass older sister. After the franchise ended, she did a few smaller movies and TV shows, but her acting career never hit the same high again. She eventually married singer Carlos Pina Jr. from Big Time Rush, and now they both do Christian music and family-friendly content. They even started a YouTube channel together for a bit. Alexa still acts here and there, mostly in Hallmark-style movies, but she's more focused on faith and family now. Next up, the little girl from Curly Sue. You'll never guess where she ended up. Allison Porter played Curly Sue in the 1991 movie, and she was so cute and confident. Everyone thought she was going to be the next big thing. But after a few more roles, she quietly left acting and focused on school. Years later, she shocked everyone when she popped up on The Voice. Yep, she auditioned and crushed it. Team Christina all the way. She ended up winning the whole thing. Allison said she struggled with addiction during her teen and early adult years, but got clean and turned her life around. These days, she focuses on music, raising her kids, and sharing her recovery journey. Now let's talk about that kid from The Sixth Sense. Where did he disappear to? Haley Joel Osment was the I see dead people kid in The Sixth Sense, and everyone thought he'd be the next DiCaprio. He got nominated for an Oscar at 11, but when he got older, the roles dried up. His look changed, Hollywood moved on, and he kind of disappeared for a while. He later came back in small comedy roles and voice work, like in Kingdom Hearts and guest appearances on shows like The Boys. So technically, he didn't vanish, but the megastar hype definitely did. You know the kid from Big Daddy? Let's talk about both of them. Cole and Dylan Sprouse were child stars ×2. They played the same kid in Big Daddy, then became Disney Channel royalty in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. But after that, total switch up. They took a break from acting and went to NYU. Dylan studied video game design, and Cole studied archaeology. Dylan runs a mead, yes, honey wine business, and Cole made a big return in Riverdale as Jughead. So while they did vanish for a few years, they came back on their own terms. They're super private now and only do stuff they care about. Honestly, big respect for that. And finally, let's end with the Napoleon Dynamite kid. Yeah, you forgot about him too. Jon Heder made everyone laugh as the awkward, moon boot-wearing star of Napoleon Dynamite. That role became a full-on cultural moment. But after that, not much. He did a few movies like Blades of Glory and some voice work, but never hit that same level again. He turned down big money offers to avoid being typecast and eventually stepped out of the Hollywood spotlight. Now he lives a super quiet life, does voice acting here and there, and focuses on family and faith. He seems totally fine not being super famous anymore. And for our final entry, what happened to that wild, dancing little girl from Little Miss Sunshine? Abigail Breslin wowed everyone in Little Miss Sunshine. She was only 10 and already Oscar nominated. After that, she kept acting in movies like Zombieland, My Sister's Keeper, and more. But lately, she's super under the radar. She still acts sometimes, mostly in indie films and TV, but it's nothing like her early fame. She's also focused on music and recently got married. Abigail said in interviews that being a child star was fun, but exhausting. She prefers being low-key now and picking roles that feel meaningful to her. But now it's your turn. Which child star shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And hey, if you grew up watching any of these legends, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss another deep dive like this.